call this September 8th, 2025 meeting of the Momeyer Town Council to order. We are minus one member. Richard Matthews is not in attendance, but we do have a quorum present, as all the other members are present. I'd like to welcome all those in attendance. We have a room full again, which is fantastic. Happy to see. Welcome to each and every one of you. We're going to move on to the consent agenda items. On that consent agenda, we have the approval of August 18th minutes and approval of the finance reports.
I make a motion we approve the.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda approved. Sheila, no public comment?
No, sir.
Mr. Jackson, will you fire report?
Okay. August, fire report, Fire District 60 had 6 fire calls. They had 14, first responder calls. They had 11 rescue related calls, 9 first responder calls, and the total calls was 40 for the month. He gave me some more information. For example, 2020 had 328 calls of service that year. 2024 they had 447 calls for that year. And they are up 91 calls this year over 2024, up to 569 calls. So that's like 25% up. And as far as I know, all the equipment's up and running. If Caroline has anything to add, that's all I have.
Are they still looking for people, or are they gotten off? Do they need more people? Are they still looking volunteers?
A lot of call inquiries.
Yeah.
Did they give any reason or just a number, like has the area changed at all or anything like that?
No. No. The districts haven't changed.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. All right, Martha Lucas is up to the audit this quarter.
Yes, I know that. I'm trying to get to Sheila. And also, there was no COG meeting this month.
Other council reports. Brian Edwards, our chairman of the planning board, is here for update on planning board.
So at our last meeting, we swore, Mayor came and swore in LaRue, Weaver, administered the oath of office. Gave a brief update on Minnie's commission. They're still working on the, updated ordinance, rough draft. We reviewed the AT&T maintenance, on the cell tower down here on Trestle Loop Road. We approved that. We reviewed a permit for a storage building, for Mary Fryer. We didn't allow that. We stuck with what the ordinance said. You need to have your residence, constructed before you can add a storage building. And then at the end, we started going through the planning and zoning e-modules. We were able to get through 2. At our next meeting, we're gonna pick those back up, continue to go through that training. I'd also like to thank the town council for voting for us to be able to, purchase be able to go through and look at those modules. It was a good, it's a good refresher. Plus, there are some things that have changed that we all need to be up to date on. So appreciate the town council approving being able to purchase that so we can study those modules. That's all I have.
Appreciate your input.
Any correspondence, Sheila?
The only thing I was gonna mention is that I had someone call me from the General Assembly this month. And they were asking me several questions about what types of services that they give to our residents, so I answered their questions. I then had someone call me from the state and asked to verify who was the town clerk and what the mailing address was for information to be mailed out. She did not specify what information she was mailing out, but I gave her my name and the town's address. Other than that, that's all I have.
So Sheila, have you ever received one of those calls before?
No, sir, I have not.
Kinda sounds like something we've been talking about a while.
Exactly.
It sure does.
Yeah.
I will say, he did say when I answered his questions that the police was covered as a service. He said that the fire and rescue was not, I believe is what he told me, wasn't it, when I told you, Will?
Mhm.
Was not considered a service.
What?
Provided through the county, but down at the bottom, I think Will looked into it, I think he was mistaken, but anyway, so that's not considered a service. Trash pickup and that kind of thing is considered a service. Planning and zoning is still considered a service. He said that there was 8 services that could be provided. He also wanted to know about water and sewer. I told him we did not do water and sewer. Like I said, that's pretty much all he said.
Do you remember any of the services that he said that could be provided offhand?
No, he didn't really give me a list. He just
Oh, okay.
asked questions and I answered them.
When he was asking those questions, he was going right down the list that I
Yes.
referred to.
Yeah, he went
Months
down every
ago.
single list, yeah.
You know, maybe copy out and hand it to you if you want. But basically, it's fire rescue, police, and I'll probably not remember one, trash, zoning, streetlights, I think is one,
Street lights.
road maintenance is one,
There are accepted
that are accepted as county
fire,
services.
police,
Yeah,
street lights.
right. And I'm missing one or two.
Yeah, I can't.
There's a
I
couple,
cannot
there's a
remember
couple
all the
that
ones
are,
he said.
would be massive projects for us that we wouldn't even consider.
Well, roads are state anyhow. I mean,
Correct.
We don't own any.
Yeah.
So we're,
What were you saying about the fire was what?
The guy told me that fire and rescue through the county was not considered a service.
A town service?
On the, but on the
But-
bottom of the statute,
Okay.
it
there's a but.
says that it is.
But, and we were talking about this last month, so I'm giving, I would like to give Edward a project, guys. We were talking about contracts, right? Contract does make it apply.
It's in the works.
So some
Matter of fact,
numbers,
it's already got, and they got to approve their side, and then they're handed this.
excellent. That'll cover that base
So
that
I'm
we
working on the
thought we
project.
already had covered, but we don't.
Well, once upon a time, we
Exactly.
did, but it got pushed to the side, or they forgot, we forgot,
Exactly.
took for granted.
Well, and that's why we have to look at these things with a fine tooth comb sometimes. Because circumstances
Well, I think
change,
it's-
regulations change, and
It's been a wonderful thing for this community, this county and this community, and
I agree.
I think we need to support it. I think it needs to go forward.
Anything else, Sheila?
No.
On the new business, first is Momeyer outreach. Those guys are gonna line up Momeyer again, they probably all be getting together. I don't know who the chairman is, but I think it's Tracy, because she was running the meetings. So, that's there to say, check with the
Yeah,
wife.
they've been informed that they need to, have we informed them that they won't continue?
They were provided a budget and we haven't given any indication we're not continuing. We've told them, you know, all along that
I
we're
don't
gonna
know that they
give it to
know.
them.
LaRue was on that.
Yeah.
I don't know that they know it was to go forward or been approved to go forward.
Can I speak?
Of course, shoot.
To my understanding, it was a one-time deal.
Okay.
We weren't told that this was gonna be ongoing. It was, we were gonna do the family day, and that was the end.
Which
of it.
I hope it is, but
So if there is.
we need to communicate.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And I'm pretty sure Tracy hadn't heard anything to go forward.
Well, and so that begs another question. Same group? Or do we wanna
Oh, I think they
nominate
did
and talk about other
fantastic,
people?
I think they did a fantastic job, and I think we need to
If
keep
they're
that.
willing
If they're willing, yeah.
and present it to them that we'd like to go forward in the future.
Sheila, can we put together a letter to that effect?
We sure can. I'll try to take care of it today.
And let the board see I'd like to make a motion for going forward, any letter that goes out to the community and the members of the town, that the board
Well, if
Has a
you do
rough
that, it's
draft.
gonna take a month.
has
And
a
if
draft
they
of it to see it.
Sure, can we send that via email or have you come pick it up? Because we don't wanna wait a month before we get upset, you know?
So, to refresh my memory, Tracy was on it, Annie,
Tracy,
LaRue,
Annie, LaRue,
who else was on it?
Allison,
Nancy Bowes.
Nancy Bass.
Nancy, and that was it, cause the other resigned. I can't remember her name.
Ashley.
Yeah, she resigned.
I wouldn't mind helping.
It was fun last year.
Richard's not here to give us a town seal update, so we'll get that next month. We have another CD maturing.
Mayor, can I ask a quick question about the light at Momeyer? Wasn't it also discussed that there might be a separation of commercial versus residential?
That's completely up to them.
I made a motion, can we act on that officially?
Restate the motion, I'm not sure anybody else caught it.
I would like to make a motion going forward, that any letters that the town sends out to the public or the citizens of Momeyer, that we get, the board gets a rough draft to approve it before it goes out. I'll make that in the motion.
I'll second it.
Further discussion? All in favor of a draft being sent to council members of any letter coming out from Momeyer Town? Say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, CD maturing.
I skipped B.
Richard's not here.
Richard's not
Oh,
here, he's in Champaign.
So it looks like it matures next week. It has a current balance of $217,000 and change.
got some insurance this week, 9/11.
We have some options. We can go back with another CD. We've been using the trust for the other CD, which is also an option. We can still segregate accounts in that, because there's not any limit to how many accounts we can do. So, pleasure of the council.
What was it? We got two different CDs now.
No, this is the only one we have left. The other's in that other account, that other company. The other money, we put it in that other company. But we only have one CD.
And again, just to kind of review the other account, interest rate is basically the same. And the advantage of the other account is we're not locked into a term. We can get to it if we have to.
So do we want to put all our money in one basket?
There you go. That's the other question.
That's kind of.
That's the other side of that
That's the
coin.
way I kind of feel about it. Do we want to put all our money in one account, in one company? We can get our money out of the CD if we had to. We'd be penalized,
Right.
but we could still get it out. I mean, you know, so it's just what the rest of y'all feel like.
I think we need to, like you said,
Leave it at Providence.
yeah, not put it all in the same,
Right.
one place.
All right, I make that a motion. I make the motion that we leave the CD at Providence Bank.
Second.
Sheila, are you gonna call Dylan? Well, we don't have to do anything, do we? If we're gonna leave it.
I don't think so, but I'll call Dylan and check on that.
Okay, well, I can do it either one, I mean, either one,
I don't know.
Okay.
You can do it no matter either way.
but I'll let you do it then, okay? Let's see.
Do you have any further discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor of renewing the CD at Providence as is, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, we will renew that. Alright, next item, trash and recycling. You have the contract in your packet. He went through, per unit price is the same as what was quoted. Before, and he went through and figured, we had how many answers, Sheila, 96 or 7?
Yes, it was 97, but I got 4 more in today that wanted to participate. I believe he said that we would go with 90, but the price doesn't change for anything that is over 90, it'll still be the same rate. And he also put the the notation in there that the renewal cannot be over, would be capped at nothing over 5%, like I said he would. That's on the 3rd page, number 7, adjustments.
for recycling and trash?
Yes.
The other thing I'll point out there in adjustments, they're not using, their own random valuation for it. They're actually using the consumer price index. So it's based upon an actual firm stat. It's a relatively true picture of what inflation is or isn't.
I don't know if it's in there, but his plan is for November 1st or November start date. If they approve the
Pending our
contract.
approval. Okay.
From the first?
November 1st. If it's approved.
This would be for how long?
Contract is 3 years.
And then it could, you have to renegotiate or decide where to keep going forward or not. I just in the future don't want this to become an issue that we have to raise taxes in reference to the trash pickup. This is my biggest concern. And I don't, I'm not personally gonna use it. I don't know that one can would do all my trash. And another reason, I'm not gonna roll it all the way to the road
Yeah, you got a long way home. No, but I agree with you on the concern about having to raise taxes and things like that. And, you know, we've talked at length about required services and things like that we need to really be focusing on. Obviously, if we're getting calls from the state, we probably really need to be focusing on those things. And with a 3-year contract, that's
and
not a permanent fix.
you're in reference to that, to the paper town.
Because that's the statute that.
Do we fall in that?
Yes. Big time.
Didn't you say something you saw?
Well, the House bill there's a House bill that's in the Senate right now. It's passed the House, but it hadn't passed the Senate. Now, I think what you're referring to is what is in 160A, which I haven't read that part. So I can't add anything to that.
One of them was 95.
That was the bill, the House bill. If it was a town incorporated from 95 on, they're going and checking to see if they have the required services. Well, they will once it's passed.
Right. Which we incorporated in 91.
Correct.
So what really,
But what is referred to in that bill, and if you read that bill, it actually gives you the reference to the actual statute, the 160 statute. And that's where that list of possible services is. And to me, 3 years isn't a long time. It's not a permanent fix. But it's also a way to get off the radar, hopefully.
Well, in the future, I'd love to see us try to purchase land for a park, and maybe a bigger town hall.
I would too.
I'd rather see that than I had trash pickup. I think it's more important.
The catch is, that doesn't fall under one of the services.
Yeah.
Services to the
That's the
community.
catch.
Right,
That's the catch.
Yeah.
I agree completely with that sentiment. In fact, you know, that's where I think capital funds should be focused, even though I don't get to make that decision. But that doesn't fulfill the requirement either. So, this is by far the cheapest way to fulfill that requirement.
Well, we ain't been took to the office yet.
So, what's that?
I said, we hadn't been took to the office yet. I mean, we've passed all the bells and whistles for the state requirements.
The trick is, once you're in the office, you can't get out.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot more in the office if that ever happens, but.
There's already been some.
Brian, what's your thoughts on the trash? Or do you have a consensus of what the planning board?
I mean,
Or just in
we're neutral, we signed up, we signed the thing, so I'm like you, I don't wanna see it down the road end up costing the citizens, and, some of that's, cause I don't want my taxes to go up, so, I don't want it to affect me
Right.
or anybody else in a negative way, or if we continue that service where you start, I mean, it is nice that the town's gonna cover the cost of it, but at some point, years down the road, it could get cost inhibited for the town to cover full cost of it, so you got two choices. Raise taxes or pass some of that charge upon the citizens in a fee.
Or start the service.
Or stop the service. So, but I'm a little neutral on it, and again, I haven't read the general statute, so I don't know the full details of it.
How do y'all feel?
I feel the same way, I don't want taxes raised on it. Is there anybody doing contract for a year? Per year basis instead of 3 years?
No, there's not. And to Brian's point, we would be the only municipality that I know of that provides that service without a fee being passed on to the end user.
Was Cascade, I've already talked to
Any-
James at Cascade, and they
Well, we don't have a line
pass it
item, but
along,
it
they
is
pass it
fine.
along to
It
the.
is taxpayers' money paying.
Correct. But what I'm saying, Edward, is that most towns, all that I know of, that offer trash service, the actual person with the service pays some too. It may be $5 a month, but it's something.
Right.
And, that, if that's a discussion that needs to be had a couple years down the road, it's what we need to talk about.
Well, we're going into it with none.
Yep.
If we decide to go into it.
Well, would the citizens want it if they knew that the cost was gonna be there with it?
Why can't there be a survey?
Well, they did, well, I mean, we did a survey, we sent out letters to everybody to sign up if they wanted the trash pickup.
Not with a
Well,
option or
For
a
3 years,
potential for.
am I right in thinking that for 3 years, there won't be a cost? Okay,
I get that.
okay. So, and like you said, after the 3 years, we might have to send out a survey and say, if we say it's gonna cost for, you know, and let them know, then they can decide if they want it or not, is what I'm thinking, okay? You know, if for 3 years, there won't be a cost to the citizens of Momeyer, then after the 3 years, before that contract runs out, we could send out another letter saying it's gonna cost such and such for you to participate. Do you know?
Would it be a case of where both the town and the citizens would pay for it in that case? Or would it?
Possible.
Yeah.
And that's what some towns do, there's a split cost.
Yeah.
What was that question?
Would it possibly be where the town and the citizens share in the cost?
Right.
And that's, towns that contract, that's typically what they're doing.
Right.
Versus towns that have their own trucks and municipal people, then, you know, the
Where's the
the
people?
homeowners bear the burden,
The homeowners would pay for it, the town would subsidize it.
basically. And that's a fairly common model.
If you got it broke down, what it is per house,
Yeah, I think it's on the back page of the property. If I remember correctly.
15 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just pick up, and then if you do the recycling, $6 more. So it's $21.
Do I understand it right, that if it's, they could choose it, one, either or, the recycling or regular trash, either or both?
Yes, that's what we sent out.
Well, I will say, y'all, it's been discussed. We sent out the letters, we've got everybody's input back that wanted to participate or didn't want to participate. Y'all know the price of what it's going to cost, y'all allotted it in the budget. And we now have the contracts before you. I think we're at a point, I
We need
think
to-
Mayor Thunderberg will agree, you need to make a decision. You need to either approve this or you need to say you're not going to do it. Because I've had several people call me and would like to know when it was going to get started. So,
You know, part of it is because the way the letter was sent out, it was a done deal.
Yeah,
that may be true, but I
It was
still have people
incorrect.
calling wanting to know.
well,
We did everything y'all wanted done for you to be able to make a decision.
like I said, after the 3 years is up, before the 3 years is up, we can send out another letter if we find out we're gonna have to ask the citizens to pay part of the expense. And if, at that time, if they don't want it, we'll discontinue it, is my thinking. So I think we ought to approve it, but that's just me.
I'll second that.
All right, that's a motion, Sheila.
That's a motion in a second.
So you say, I make a motion that we approve
Right, and George
the
Allen,
trash contract, that's what you
George
need.
Allen seconded it.
Any further discussion? All in favor of entering into the solid waste and recycling collection agreement with GFI for the term of 3 years, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
You will need to sign one of those contracts, Mr. Moore.
Okay.
Very last page at the bottom.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Y'all know I've been studying old meetings, so I'm trying to get out ahead of an issue. Seems like every year we get the phone calls about deer hunting in town.
It's been going on for years.
That's what I just said, right? Every year. I can see both sides of the conversation, frankly. Everyone likes to make the point, see, I've been listening to meetings, that these guys lease these properties way in advance and should be able to be there. And I couldn't agree more. However, the moment they step off that property, they are no longer legally hunting. There's where the catch-22 comes in, right?
Say that again.
There's where the rub comes in, right? That the moment they step off that property onto someone else's, they are no longer legally hunting.
When there's stuff in place for that, like they would have written permission to be hunting on any property.
Correct, but the moment they step off of that property that they have written permission to be on, they are no longer legally hunting.
Correct.
Correct.
And I think a lot of people jump to conclusions when they see the guys in front of my house, in front of George Allen's house. They're not hunting, but they're trying to catch the dogs. And that's a pretty common thing.
I don't
But
disagree.
they see the truck there, and they see the dogs coming, or the guy standing out, but
Exactly.
and I reckon you could qualify them as hunting, but they're trying to gather the dogs, not shoot a deer at that point.
If they don't have a gun in their hand, they're not hunting,
Right.
right?
You know, sometimes you can't tell the junkie public that, or convince them of that. But
That's correct.
of course, they can't legally shoot from the ground anyway.
Correct.
That'd be 6 foot up.
Out of the right of way and all that other
Yeah.
stuff, right?
You discharge shotgun from the ground in Nash County. Rifle only 6 feet off the ground. And if you're in the act of catching dogs, you're hunting.
So, I've also spent a lot of time in the woods. This is where I say I can see both sides of this issue. I've also spent an awful lot of time in the woods. And I know that when you're traipsing along, it can be virtually impossible to know where that property line is. And I really appreciate the landowner who marks his line, rather than answering with a shotgun when I'm there. The town can do quite a few things about hunting. They can ban the discharge of a firearm within town limits. I think that's going too far, personally.
Yeah, cause
But it can be done.
we have folks that shoot at 12 o'clock at night in the mobile home park, and we don't know where it's coming from or what's happening, and, you know, we just make sure we aren't sitting in my kitchen when it happens, so,
Exactly.
you know, we're right across the road from them, so.
I don't need to say on one side of it, there's no place anybody can shoot a gun in a trailer court that's safe.
I know it,
Correct.
But in my backyard, I've always shot.
oh, yeah.
And going to shoot, I've had the 4-H team come to my house every year and practice 4-H.
Yeah.
Shooting, skeet shooting.
And we have,
But the backside of my property's not in the city limits either, so.
and we have a lot of people down on Bowser Road that shoot. You can hear them shooting and target practicing, I think, but kind of scares me when Shelton's down that end of the woods.
I think there's plenty of rules in place to enforce it. They just need to be enforced. I'm a member of the NRA. I'm in charge of the Nash County NRA, so I'm a gun-toting, believing right. So, and that's not gonna change, but, you can always have anybody break rules in anything.
You can.
But we've addressed this over and over and over the years, and we've talked with wildlife, and pretty much, you know, it's their responsibility. Unless somebody does something really stupid. I've actually had people drive, this is 20 years ago, on New Year's night, I thought it was fireworks. The next door, my metal building down here had 3 holes in it. And I saw the car, I thought they were throwing firecrackers. And I was standing at my back door at 12 o'clock at night, watching the neighbors do fireworks when it happened. And if they'd have missed the building 2 feet, they'd have shot right where I was standing. But I mean, holes are still in the building.
I got a couple in my book.
Yeah, that was just people riding by in a car, shooting out the window.
So, my suggestion is, like I said, there's a lot of things we can do. So let's not fall into the trap of saying we can't do anything, because we can. And as leaders in the community, it's not necessarily our place all the time to legislate behavior, but we can lead by example. The Q&A stuff I gave you, if you flip to the back page of it, talks about the purple spray paint program. Been around for, this is the 13th or 14th year.
Which has been in place for years.
Right, like I just said, 13th or 14th year, right? I think it's reasonable to expect that those homeowners that are concerned, or landowners that are concerned about people crossing over, should go this route.
I'm sure there's some people that have complained they don't own any land.
I agree.
already in place. Now, where they act on it or not is up to the landowner.
And that's the next piece, and whether the hunter honors it. And that's individuals. You get somebody that's not gonna follow the rules in every group, right? That doesn't mean that the whole group's bad. So I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush. But what can we do to get that information out and help both sides?
Send out a flyer for it. Post it.
Be an option, they have to approve that.
I don't think we have the right to require it,
We don't.
but the inform would be what you're getting at. I don't have a problem with that. So are you suggesting to send it out to the citizens of the town of Momeyer?
Absolutely. The entirety of that packet that you have in your hand. If you have the
Of this?
FAQ list.
As a suggestion and informational only, not mandatory.
I had to do that right after my daddy passed away. I had to paint the trees and I had to paint the trees and it sent,
Yeah.
it got their attention.
Because ultimately,
Well,
when I'm out there, I'm looking for that.
I'll make that a motion.
I think it also needs to go out to the ETJ people, because several people that complain were ETJ, that were not townspeople.
I agree with that too, Sue. I second your motion.
Motion is that we send the Landowner Protection Act frequently asked questions and how-to all citizens of town and ETJ.
Yeah. One more thing, are we gonna send it to all the citizens in the town, or we gonna send it to the landowners?
Send it all. That way you're covering all the bases. Because some of your folks that have a little lot here have a lot somewhere else too and different stuff. So that way you're covering everybody and an empty plot of land doesn't receive mail, so.
Or maybe that'll settle their mind and we're
Yeah.
informing everybody.
You know, it's sometimes hard to balance the
Law.
personal responsibility with the God, I don't wanna see somebody get shot.
Right.
But both parties have personal responsibilities that it's their job to fulfill.
Yeah.
It's not our job to do that for them.
If everybody would just respect each other.
Correct.
And we
Absolutely. How far would that go? On a lot of issues. So that's the motion, that we send this out to all residents and of town and ETJ.
It is a suggestion and informational purposes.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor of sending that packet out to everyone in town and ETJ for suggestion and informational purposes? I'll use your exact words ever. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll get them set up.
So you're against it?
Yes, sir.
May I ask, I'm asking why?
The problem in general is the dog hunting in town. You're not talking about a hunter that's slipping in the woods and sitting in a deer stand. You're talking about people that go about anywhere they want to in the name of getting their dogs. So it's not just the danger of a firearm, it's the disrespect of other people's land. Purple paint does work, it helps, it lets people know. But in my dealings with what I've been dealing with for the last 5 years, and since I moved here, I've been dealing with, it's just going to create people to be more sneaky to get around the purple paint and do what they want to do. As far as the dog hunting goes, it's the dangers of them parking on the road, doing what they're doing. I understand they got to catch their dogs. It's a way of life. I love dog hunting when it's done right. But what y'all got to think about is you're in a community that's growing. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of traffic out here. There's a lot of dangers that can happen, not just on the land, but doing fast turns in the road to catch a dog, turning dogs out. You got more people getting more animals in their yard. There's a lot of issues with hunting dogs bothering people's livestock. So it's a very broad issue, I think. That's how I feel about it.
Appreciate that. Pretty much what we're doing is informing the community.
Yeah.
What's in place already.
Yeah, and like you said, it's been in place for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the landlord's responsibility to know what their rights are
Yeah.
and to do it.
Of course, you know, somebody doing a traffic violation trying to catch a dog is a whole different from this.
Absolutely.
You know, that's sheriff and highway patrol, I guess.
But then that falls back into y'all, what you said, that y'all have a responsibility to your citizens too.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying take something away from somebody or give it to them, but keep that in mind if these meetings come up and then Lord forbid, there's an accident one day and some lawyer says, well, have y'all ever discussed this? Well, we've discussed it the last 10 years. You know, there needs to be a good answer. And how that road out there, I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000 cars a day. It's a lot. And it's just a lot of things that can go wrong out there.
Yeah, some people think it's a drag strip anyway.
Absolutely.
That's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah, I just had one to go across my yard. Oh, gosh.
We appreciate your input.
Yes, sir.
Last item. Planning board. Have any of you had the opportunity to watch the meeting on YouTube? Any of you sat down and read the minutes that were part of your file?
Working on it.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Part of what was done in there was way outside purview and may land us in court.
What I
I'm not
remember-
gonna talk about that on the camera because then it becomes evidence.
Didn't it just
But we
become
can
evidence
talk.
by you doing that?
Do we need to have a closed session?
The planning board is currently in their training sessions. We're doing that so that they can update. And it's a learning process. I don't want to turn the table over in the middle of a learning process. But at the same time, we've got to cover our backsides too. They answer to you guys. I've asked and begged and pleaded with you to become familiar with what the legal separation. We've already heard from the state, as Sheila said earlier. So we've got a possible point of hurting us there. And then we have a continuous opening to litigation on the other side. We've got dual dangers right now. And if you guys aren't taking it seriously, we don't stand a chance. Oh, yeah. If there's no more new business, I would hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.